Hello, I am Will, and this will be my first upload on this channel. Unlike my co-host, he can just post without his face because he's just doing math. Well, I don't have the skills to do that. So I will be talking more about English, history, and philosophy. So I guess since we're talking about English, I have to talk about my biases and kind of who I am as a person because that's how you know about a person's interpretations. So I'm really interested in the arts, the human arts, anything human related. I'm fascinated by, like creation, all that. My favorite author, probably Dostoevsky, and I think I'm saying that right, and um, probably Tatsuki Fujimoto. He is probably my favorite author. But let's get started. This will be a shorter one because it's a short story. I'm planning on doing a guide on, if I can grab it, Don Quixote later on. Yeah. Let's get started. So, I will be talking about Haruki Murakami's The Kangaroo Communique, which is probably my favorite short story by him. I have read his three of his other books, which was Norwegian Woods, Kafka on the Shore, and The Wind-Up Bird. And this is The Elephant Vanishes, which is a collection of short stories. So, let's get started. So the Kangaroo Communique is really a fascinating story because I believe it really does show who he is as a person, who Haruki Murakami is, which is kind of like a man that thinks too much, and which it's fascinating because he does. So the story, to sum it up, I'm assuming you guys have already read it. It is basically a man is responding to a letter that was a complaint launched at his company. And he's so fascinated by this letter, and he's writing back, and he's just going on tangent after tangent. He mentions stuff about wanting to be in two places at once, Egyptian Sandman, and like regular zoo animals, and it's so fascinating how he can just go off from one topic to another. But he has this one line that really speaks to me, is the fact that he comes from this one idea, connects it to another, and it's a list of 30-something connections, and he finally gets back to the letter. And it's so fascinating because it really does show how a person and how a human thinks, how you can get from one thing and to the other. It's like you could be thinking about Moby Dick from one moment and then be thinking about, I don't know, physics. It's really fascinating, but how to talk about it? What else do I want to mention about it? It's a good short story, but I'm blanking. Let's talk about it. Haruki Murakami is an interesting author. If you've read some of his other works, I like to consider him a little bit of a freak. I don't know. I'm not censoring my language here, which is really not that bad. But he gets really in-depth with his depictions of raw human emotion and the other things. I don't want this video to get taken down if I keep on going. But he talks about it in all of his stories, but I think this one is also really interesting because it's through the form of like a letter and a tape, like a letter. It's fascinating just because it's purely one-sided. We never get to hear really what the woman on the other side thinks. We kind of just hear the man's POV of him just writing it all down, how he wants to be closer to her, that he wants to sleep with her, but, he's fine if he doesn't, but he kind of wants to, but it also doesn't really matter. It's just the idea alone is kind of enough for him. But it's all these tangents, and they all form together into this man's mind. It's fascinating. But it's really fascinating, and it does get to show the rest of his work. It's only 7 minutes. I can talk about another short story by him as well, and that will be Walking Past the 100% Perfect Girl on an April afternoon, if I can find it. Now this story is fascinating because, I like this, I also read it for class, but it's really fascinating because in the story, multiple times he mentions, well, she's not the most beautiful girl, she's not the most perfect girl, she's not, like, the best, but she's the 100% perfect girl for him, which is such a fascinating idea because it she's not conforming to like the beauty standards. It's just what he imagines in his life. So like, I don't know, 100% perfect girl in my life, that'd be fascinating to know. And maybe one day I might meet her. I don't know. I'm rambling here. But like, even if, I don't know. But it's fascinating to know because, I mean, going back to Haruki Murakami himself, maybe that's how he sees his wife. I don't know. I've not done any in-depth research on his life, unlike these other authors that I have. But it's so fascinating because, like, it's just on just one way, like they're walking past each other, and they're just like, that's the one right there. That's the one, and it's so crazy because he does not say anything, and which I think that is, if we're talking about philosophy again, that is really how most humans would think. I mean, how many times have we walked past someone that like we would have thought would have been best bros? Like I've walked past people in the store and they're wearing a Detroit Lions shirt, and I want to like say like, hey man, I love that team as well, but I don't. And it's like, well, we could have been best friends right there, and which is kind of different. But like maybe even like maybe when I'm walking in a restaurant and I walk past like a waiter, and that could be my soulmate right there. I would never know. And but the difference is he knows in the story, he knows that is his soulmate, and which is fascinating because he doesn't go up. Like for us as real humans and in the real world, we can walk past someone and we wouldn't know because, well, we don't know for sure. Like you can always infer, but he knows for sure that it is, and he still doesn't, which is so fascinating. I guess that's where, if I want to have something about Haruki Murakami, is he really understands how humans are, and where you get like classics and you start to understand like how some humans think. So you like with Dostoevsky, you have like how like humans like see themselves through religion. I guess Tatsuki Fujimoto is like how humans like value themselves, and then like Dasein, I don't know, he's just a little bit, he's like, I like how like depression's kind of thing. I don't know. He's really sad, but he is also a really good author. But I think Haruki Murakami really shows how humans think. I think in all of his stories, actually, if I can get Kafka on the Shore up here, really, his whole character arc with Kafka and every single character, it all matches so well. He just understands how humans are. And if you're doing a Socratic seminar on this, I would highly recommend bringing up philosophy, because that's just how it is. But 10 minutes. Don Quixote should be coming up soon, part 1. It's a long read, but trust me, it's worth it if you guys want to care. I will probably do more short stories. I have other ones planned, so I'll be talking about Aesop's Fables probably next. Maybe some H.P. Lovecraft. I've always enjoyed his writing. But once again, this is my kangaroo communique. No one's listening, and it's really fascinating. I don't know, but just being able to talk to this is really fascinating. I don't know if you've ever done this. I'm talking to no one here. It's fascinating. Going back to kangaroo communique, it's because he's just venting all of his emotions onto this letter that she'll never read, which is interesting. I'm talking about my literary analysis to a phone right now that no one's going to be watching. Chances are, I don't know, maybe it blows up. I don't know. It's all fascinating. The human mind is amazing. I'm not going to be like a doctor. I'm not going to be studying anything, but once again, it's fascinating.